Hey guys, what it is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life Prison Wife. Yeah, I said that right. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painted for justice, hoping, girl, to see justice before all face to blame. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, I am coming through today, July the 25th, 2023. Yes. Okay, so I'm coming through right after work, right? Y'all know that work shift. Y'all know I work to live and I live to work. I hustle hard until it hurts. I work my fingers down to the bone. And once I pay my bills, it ain't nothing to come home with. Once I pay my bills, it ain't nothing to come home with. Once I pay my bills, it ain't nothing to come home with. Yeah, it's your girl Cadillac. It's just getting off that little workshop for a break, but gotta return, after these messages. Okay, so today, basically, I don't know. I guess today's topic will tell it all, like how I'm feeling, girl. So, because it was that dread, when I go into Monday, well, not even Monday, today is Tuesday. But my Monday, right? I'm off on Mondays. I have 2 days off a week. I'm usually off on Sundays. Usually Sunday is the day that I could chill. I made it through the work week. I can hang out with my family the next day. I ain't got to worry about boundaries and time restraints, getting to work by this time, that time, whatever. And I could just chill. When Monday comes, usually that's when a lot of dread sets in. Even though Monday is one of my days off, Monday also is usually, because it's a business day and things are open, this is the day I better get some of the things done that I have put off, not because of putting off sake, because when you're working throughout the week, you get too busy to do this, that, and the other. And for me, I don't know if it happens to others, but I tend to carry over things that I needed to do. Oh man, I needed to take care of that issue. And then it carries over to the next day. Oh, I'll make sure I do it tomorrow. But usually when you're working, because case in point, like now is 7, that is very disturbing because I left my house at 10 o'clock this morning and I got off of work. All I did was go return my little hotspot box, and I just pulled up to the park to record a video. It is already 7:30. How much of this day is left to do anything? To do chores, to do family time, to work on my passion, work on my arc, which is to keep me afloat so that I can get off of this 9 to 5 rat race. What time is left in this day to do what I need to do? So by the time I finish this video, most likely it's going to be almost 8 o'clock because I usually tend to do about a 20 to 30 minute video, right? And it's already 7:22. I'm not at home, right? So my next stop, if I don't go anywhere else and I go straight home, it's going to be somewhat after 8. By the time I take off these work clothes and find whatever or if I want to walk around the park. If I want to walk around the park, it's definitely going to be a little bit after 8 by the time I get home. So, because I do got to return to work tomorrow by 10:30 again, right? So what are my boundaries? Really, I got off at 6, but you don't just appear home, right? You got to make your way through traffic. You have to do whatever little errands you have to do, and then you get home. So case in point, I got off. Oh my goodness. I really got off an hour and a half ago, and I'm not even home yet. So by the time I make it home, it's going to be a good 8:30ish. I got to go back to work at 10:30 in the morning, right? How much time do I have to devote to whatever else I need to do? Whether it's physical, um, health wise, keeping up with your health. If you want to exercise, which my little walk in the park, but that ain't getting my little heart rate up. So I don't consider that exercise. I consider that um de decompressing basically from the day, right? And then that's when my creativity opens up, my thoughts open up. I feel one when I'm with nature. So that's my centering time almost, right? That you got to keep up your house, your area, your car. You want to keep your car together. So how many of those things you really think can get done before? Now you remember the boundary on the other side. It's like book. And I love that analogy. I just came up with that. It's like bookends. The boundaries, they're like bookends. But what if the bookend did not really take up most of the shelf? Let's say work was that big, huge book on the shelf, and you had to squeeze in the bookend, right? Where does the other bookend go? It gets closer. So tomorrow's work schedule, dang, I love this. Tomorrow's work schedule is going to take up another big, huge, huge book. Maybe a book bigger than Marcella's transcript file, which is about that thick. So you put those two huge bookends on the shelf. What can you fit in between those bookends? You better fit everything. You better fit everything you need to do. You better fit your family time. You better fit your health. You better fit your just like women, we like to keep ourselves together. We like to do our nails. We like to pamper ourselves. We like to do those type of things. If you have a significant other, you have that time with that person. If you have a passion like me, my art, my not just one passion, my art, my YouTube. So I need to squeeze all of that in that small slot. How much can I really do today? So the only way to keep up with the other things, the health, the family, the passions, is you're going to have to try to squeeze that book in, that second book in back some, right? You can't squeeze the first book in back because that's work. That goes nowhere. You cannot get rid of that. You could, because people will tell you if you don't like your job, just quit it. But they don't tell you how you're going to survive, right? So you know you got to survive. That's the human's nature. You're going to survive, right? So because you know that job is what feeds you, you can't get rid of it until you replace it with something else that feeds you, right? So the average person, whether they hate their job or not, they're going to keep it until they find another food source or another source that pays the rent to keep the roof over their heads, right? Hold on a second. I had all that to say. It leads right into my topic. So as I was going to work, and I'm like, gosh, another week. Every time I get to the end of my work week, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have the weekend. I'm going to work on this, work on that. And one of these days, things are just going to, all the things that I had out there in the atmosphere that I've been working on, the YouTube channel I've been building, it's going to take off soon. The art career that I've been working on, that's going to take off soon. Something is going to take off, right? Eventually, something's going to take off. Eventually, I'm going to take care of the issues of my to-do list. Eventually, everything's going to be in order and done. And I'm going to, so when I come to that Tuesday, which is my Monday, my work week Monday, and I'm just clocking back in, I'm like, wow, So I literally, it's almost like the weekend is your only time to figure out how to get off of your rat race, how to get out your rat race. And then when the weekend passes and it's time to join the rat race again on that Monday, which is whatever day you start back to work, you kind of do the rat race thing again for that work week. So when your weekend comes back, you're like, okay, this is my chance to work on whatever I need to get out this rat race. So it's like that basically. And each time that I come back, I need that to stop clicking. Really? My phone is plugged in. It's going to keep doing that continuous beep. It literally will not turn off my radio, my car radio. So it just, okay, let's just get into the topic. Okay. This is the thought that I thought when I was heading into work this morning. Feels like I'm in a mental escape game. In the game, guess what the name of this escape game is? Now, y'all know when my family was here, just last week, or this week was their last day here, me and my nephews went to do 2 escape games. And an escape game, really, is it gonna keep doing that? Finally cuts off. That is too much. Okay, so an escape game is where they usually put you in a room, right? There's no evident doors, windows, or anything. And you got to figure out clues on how to get out of this space. How do I get out of here? You got to wreck your brain. You got to solve riddles. You got to think beyond just what's in front of you. You're going to have to figure out a way to get out of here. Now, I've done escape games in the past. So one of the escape games, once you finally find that clue, a lot of times a secret path or door just unlocks and opens for you, and you're able to leave that room. Now, the last escape game that I've done, it was really good, but I had never did an escape game where literally the whole game is in one room and it just opened different boxes, but you stay in that one room. Now, that was different. So we never really escaped the whole room. Well, I guess we did at the end. It just put us back in the room that we were in, right? Okay. And out to the exit. So the name of this escape game is How to Beat the Rat Race. Mental escape game. How do you beat the rat race? Now, this is not, I mean, maybe you can you can relate to me, or maybe you can't. Maybe you're not stuck in a rat race. But I am. I'm stuck in this rat race. And many people are. That actually there was this big thing that started, I don't dream of labor. And it was another one, the American dream is a lie. And those 2 movements just stemmed off of this stuck in the rat race, stuck in the game, the mental escape game, the rat race. Okay. How to beat the rat race. Okay, so what is a rat race? Something that gives the illusion, these are my definitions that I made up from what I feel. So I wanted to define what's a rat race. Okay. Something that gives the illusion of continuous movement or progression forward, but actually gives you just enough to stay on that same continuous loop. That's just like, okay, so let me reread that, and then I'm going to interject. Something that gives the illusion of continuous movement or progression. A job definitely would give you that illusion that you are continuously moving. You will be tired after working that job. You will have put in a lot of work. You will have put in a lot of effort. Most times you're going to do a lot. And when you do things, you assume that things are going to move forward. That would be like if you were building a building, because I just used that example in one of my last videos where I was talking about the I-4 eyesore here in Florida, where it's this building and it has been halfway built forever. And you always look at like, is the building almost done? Were they working on the building? And the building's never done. I guess they ran out of money while building this building. It made me feel like the things that I have basically been trying to build, my YouTube career, my business, my art career, those things feel like that. Like, though I have been laying bricks, my building's never done, complete. Never a grand opening, never a full building ready for full operation. No, it's always laying a brick, but the building's never done, right? So I I liken it to that. So let's say a carpenter, and he was laying bricks, laying bricks, laying bricks. I don't care how many, I don't care how slow it is. I don't care how much work you put in, how little work you put in. Eventually, you're gonna lay that last brick and you're gonna be done with that house or that building. You don't keep working and working and working and working and the building never gets finished. So there is a progression. This is how it is. It started from ground level and then it is complete and it's built. So there's a progression like that, right? Okay, so it gives that illusion when you're working because you're tired. You've put in work, they've paid you for it. It makes you think that you're progressing forward. And most times when you're in a job, you don't think just like that job that I worked for that super center. I didn't know I was taking vows for better or for worse to stay stuck to that job. I literally thought that was a job for the meanwhile. You know, my husband was wrongfully arrested, convicted, and taken out the family. So I was just going to get an overnight job until I finished school and got up on my feet. Till you get up on your feet. But what if you never get your footing? You just stay on that loop until you get your footing, but your footing never comes. So that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, but actually gives you just enough. So this is how you never get up on your footing. Because it gives you just enough. Just enough. It doesn't give you ample. It doesn't give you extra that you can carry over and you can accumulate and you can save. It gives you just enough to stay on that continuous loop. So, yes, you worked hard, you paid your rent, you paid your light bill, your gas bill. Oh my gosh, all those bills of mine are behind. Oh, I hope they ain't in collections, girl, but okay, you done paid that, you paid your phone bill, and you paid all of that, you get through the month, and guess what happens at the end of the month? The beginning of the month comes. So, you recycle. That's a loop. You have to keep going back to work. So you pay your light bill, your rent, your phone bill, your gas bill, all of that, and then it recycles. Phone bill, rent, light bill, gas bill, and recycles. So that's a loop. And you barely made it check to check. Now that's the key too. When you make it only check to check, that also will ensure that you stay in a loop and you don't elevate or escalate or any of those slopes. We really want a slope, a growth on a slope, right? That's going to ensure that we're progressing. Okay, but actually gives you just enough to stay on a continuous loop. So I made this little diagram. Girl, I can't write. I have horrible handwriting, but I just want to show you the diagram. So you see the circle? That's what the rat race is. It's markings. It's more marking than the slope up. You're doing more work. But a circle never ends. It's infinity. You just keep going around that circle, round that circle, round that circle, round that circle, round that circle. And I'm sure you do get tired. Yes, you have put in a lot of work, but you haven't made any ground because you're in that same loop. Now, here is the way we should be working and growing. We should be constantly progressing upward. Each year, getting a little bit better. Each paycheck, paying a little bit of debt off. Each year, saving a little bit more money. And unfortunately, because we were only getting just enough to survive, that upward growth is not happening. You're staying in that loop. Well, I'm not going to speak for you, but I'm staying in that loop, right? Okay, so once stuck in a loop, one can continue to cycle for months, years, and in some cases, lifetimes. And I liken that to the children of Israel. If you don't understand it, then just Google it. What did the children of Israel do? But you can just cycle and cycle and cycle. And time just passes. You get older with each day. And you just cycle and cycle and cycle, right? Okay. So now I'm going to define, this is not Webster's, this is Cadillac's version. Okay, what is a cycle? A continuous routine that is done over and over and rarely deviates from the usual. So my example, first let me give some things that I said were where you could find in a cycle, like components of a cycle, right? Work. Once you finish one schedule, like we said, you're scheduled next week, right? And if you ain't scheduled next week, how you gonna pay them bills? Bills is a part of the cycle too, right? So work is continuous. And a lot of times we don't even get to stop working. A lot of people look forward to retirement. We looking forward to the latter part of our life so that we can rest and get off of this work continuum. Why? For that one day that we don't just have to work. I've seen people with 2 jobs. I've seen people with 3 jobs. I've seen people with a job and going to school. I've been the single mother, taking care of the child, going to school, going to work. That's just cycle. And I was cycling so much till I thought I was finna be gone to bed, like for good. Like, what's his name? Umar said, for good. I thought I was going to be gone to bed for good, for real. From that cycle, just constantly spinning your wheels. You're working hard. You're tired. You're trying to figure out how to move those bookends out so that you can do something else. Because to get out of a cycle, just like I said, a cycle. Okay, let me read that part again. A continuous routine that is done over and over that rarely deviates from the usual. So to get out of that cycle, you're going to have to do something different. How do you do something different? Okay, just hold on to that note right there. Okay, so components, back to that. Work, support a family. As long as you have a family to support, most likely you're going to have to work. It's a part of that cycle. Bills will keep you in a cycle. You got to keep that roof over your head and your family's head. That will keep you on that cycle, that continuum. Debt. You have a house to pay off. You have a car note. You have a big old car insurance bill coming up. Case in point, myself. And I don't know how I'm going to pay it, girl. That will keep me working. Baby, if I didn't have no bills, do you think I would be working? I would be in the middle of this park drawing or painting. I wouldn't be tired. My legs wouldn't be hurting. My sciatica wouldn't be all worked up because I wouldn't have been standing up on my feet all day like that, girl. With my back hurting, with my hands numb. I wouldn't have been on nobody's register today if I didn't have bills to pay. Ain't no way. Girl, it's rhyming. Like, for real, that will keep you on that continuum. Work, support of self and family, bills, and debt keep you in the rat race. Those are reasons to keep you in the rat race. My hand going to bed. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. My hand was going to bed. I had to shake it out for a minute. But like I said, if I didn't have those certain obligations, I wouldn't have went to work today. I wouldn't have. Who just works just, I mean, I don't know. I myself, and I'm only gonna speak for me because last time I tried to speak for multiple people, they told me to speak for myself. So I'm speaking for myself. But girl, I